Hello, this is Valerie Aiello, and you are listening to Idea Diary. Thanks for coming back to my office and hanging out. I went to the library like I normally do and just I go to the business section and I check out a bunch of books. And I try to, just based on who wrote it or the title or the cover art, I'll pick it up because it's the library. You can just grab whatever the heck you want. And there was this Zig Ziglar book, See You at the Top, and I really thought it was pretty cool. Just very 70s. It has a little line here that says, "Don't miss page 15" at the top of the book. I think that's cute. And See You at the Top has a tagline. So there's always like that main title when it comes to business books or motivational books, and then it has like the long tagline. So this is the long tagline, the how-to book that gives you a checkup from the neck up to eliminate stinking thinking and avoid hardening of the attitudes. I don't know exactly where Zig Ziglar's from. I think he might be from Texas. However, he has a lot of phrases that he'll repeat over and over again that, sometimes people that are into phrases do. So the book is about self-image, relationships with others, goals, attitudes, work, desire. So it has something that says, Stairway to the Top purpose, to open your mind, stir your imagination, and make you think, to arouse your curiosity and create a healthy dissatisfaction with your status quo, to identify the things you want in life and chart a course of action to get them, to arouse the sleeping giant inside you, to assist you in recognizing and overcoming your loser limps. Okay, so the thing I like about Zig Ziglar's stuff is it's very practical. There's not much woo. I hate the word woo, but I don't know how to explain it. There's not too much he's not taking out ideas out of the ether and then kind of renaming them and making them seem hard to understand. He gets very simple about positive thinking and making things happen in your life. He does come across slightly churchy, but not very much. I think he may consider himself a Christian leader of some kind, but I don't really get that. For me, it's just practical thinking about making things happen. So he kind of talks about a guy that worked on a railroad, and these two guys started at the same time. And one of the railroad workers still works outside, and one of the railroad workers became the president of the railroad. And the idea is that the guy that still works outside, he went to work every day for $3 an hour, and the guy that became president, he went to work every day to work for the railroad. So, which sounds like worker bee propaganda. However, I don't think that is the case necessarily. I feel like when I had jobs that were just jobs and you were working for money, there was a different level of excitement rather than when I had a job working at a company where I felt like I'm going to make $1 million and everyone's going to get paychecks and the company's going to grow and grow and grow. When I went there for the company, that was a very different, exhilarating experience over going to work every day, punching a time clock, So I think when you decide to check out a Zig Ziglar thing on YouTube or something, it's kind of like just resetting your brain, listening to something positive, getting yourself kind of back to getting ready to get to it again, whatever your it is. And I certainly don't know much about going to church weekly or anything like that, but I am pretty much every day when I try to wake up, I start my workday with listening to positive things about business and motivation and law of attraction and quantum thinking. I'm always constantly listening to stuff like that because even when I achieve stuff that's big and I feel like, okay, I've raised my frequency to the next level, I feel like I've It's more of a muscle that you have to work on to get to the next level, to grow and grow and grow. You kind of, sort of like going to church every week, you kind of have to like check in with yourself, check in with your brain, see how you're thinking, see if there's a better, faster, more results driven way to think. You're always pushing forward. You know, a scientist usually, as far as I know, doesn't stop once they figured out something. There's always more to figure out. There's always more to learn. And I think that is the benefit of one, like constantly reading new stuff, constantly watching new videos. I was on TikTok and I made a comment on this guy's video because he was really great at explaining law of attraction. And I just kind of made a comment. I've been listening to this kind of stuff for like 20 years and you explain it really well. And then someone else made a comment under my comment and they said, oh, you still haven't made it after 20 years. This stuff really works. You know, just kind of trying to make a point that, oh, this is fake, you know, and it's like, no, I've accomplished a lot. However, there's always more to accomplish. There's always more to learn. There's always more ways to calm your mind and to bring more things into you. And the more you accomplish, kind of the more you want. And that's not in a bad way. It's not like money is everything. However, once you hit a threshold and you're like, holy crap, that was possible, you know, let's go bigger. Let's go bigger. Just why not, you know, because feeling successful and being successful is fun and addicting, especially when you're doing it in a way that's just, you're using your brain and you're trying to figure out, what can I accomplish? And when you start doing things, it's crazy fun. There was one thing Zig Ziglar said, which is the more you help others get what they want, the more you will get what you want. So I thought that was a really great way of thinking because I'm always trying to figure out, how can I help? How am I valuable? And for me, I'm always shy to tell people, oh, I think if you would have tried it this way, you would have gotten more done or gotten a better result or whatever it is. I'm always kind of shy when it comes to helping people because I feel like partially they're not going to listen. And that's not anything against them. It's just that we all hear stuff at different times. We hear stuff in different ways. Somebody can come to me right now and tell me exactly what I want to hear to learn everything that I need to know about being a trillionaire, and I still won't hear it because I'm not ready. There's all these skills and stuff in my brain, and I always think, like, how can I help other people? You know, aside from going to a soup kitchen and serving food, how can I really help people get to the next level or do something? And I'm always like coming up with nothing. I feel like that's a little bit of the dream, trying to help everybody. He talked about fear motivation versus incentive motivation versus growth motivation. And so the fear motivation is, if you don't do that, you will get in trouble. And then the incentive motivation is, if you can do that, you're going to gain something. And then the growth motivation, I think, is something that's like has to do with self-starting and being able to like push yourself and get past that point of, okay, this is exciting, it's new. Then you start understanding it and then it gets boring. Kind of pushing yourself with that growth motivation, trying to get to somewhere new. But that's all in your brain. So I know, like, when it came to workout classes and stuff, like if I paid, I hate losing money. So when I would sign up for workout classes, if you prepay for the class and you don't go, then you lose the $10 or $20. That is serious fear for me, and I would never lose $20 because I didn't go work out. Whereas if I just had to like work out and just like fit it in, then I would find a million excuses, you know, not to. So just thinking about different ways to motivate yourself, I thought that was very interesting. He talked about positive self-talk, you know, in a way. I'm just using that term. But he talked about when somebody's like, oh, I have the sniffles. I'm about to get really sick in 3 days. You know, like the third day is always the worst for me. Or when you're saying like, oh, I'm always running late, or I never this, or I never that. You know, just kind of stop yourself when you notice yourself saying things like that. And then he kind of said, and start saying things like, if someone asks you how you are, just say, I'm fantastic. I'm getting better every day. You know, he does that in a self-helpy, motivational man way. But I did think that it was a cool idea to think, you're not lying. You might not be fantastic right now, but in the same way that you know you're probably going to procrastinate whatever it is that you should be doing, instead of saying like, oh, I'm supposed to go home and write tonight, but I know that I won't. Instead, reframe it into like, I'm finishing my book tonight. Either way might be possible, but focusing on writing your future with your words is something helpful that we should all kind of be reminded of. And because I think we all like fall into the trap of negative self-talk and whatever it is that we can feel down about not getting done, because there's always something new to get done. There's always something new to become an expert at. When someone asks how you're doing, make a future statement with the future that you would like to be existing, and even if it's not, just kind of get the positive frequency rolling. So at the time he was writing this book and making programs and stuff, they would do it on cassette tapes. And he said he would not sell his cassette tape player for $100,000 if he could not replace it. His cassette player was his, I don't know, one of his number one prized possessions, because he would just constantly listen to motivational tapes. I don't know if he listened to himself over and over again, but I found that really cool. And I think maybe we all have something that we couldn't give up. I couldn't give up my laptop. I need to be making something on my computer every day if I possibly can. And using Adobe, Photoshop, and Illustrator, and InDesign, and Premiere, I wish I didn't have to pay a membership, but the Adobe suite and my laptop is like a total extension of myself, and I would not sell that if I could not replace it for even $1 million. So the point of him having a cassette tape was he basically said, like, you can change who you are and what you're doing just by controlling what goes into your mind. So you can watch other people's programs, you know, you can watch cable, you can watch Netflix, you can watch programs, or you can program yourself, which is what I consider YouTube, is deciding what you want to listen to and just filling your mind with a bunch of positive stuff and learning. So I guess that is the show for today, and thanks for coming to my office and hanging out.